that there is a going into awareness, that hardness, that center will disappear. And the way that that happens is by this constant commitment to awareness rather than to the story. So what Nisargadatta Maharaj recommends is the removal of attention from those thoughts back to the I am. What Ananda Mahima recommends is reciting the name of God. It's not that the practice is going to get you actually somewhere, because who is this you that will get somewhere to? But what happens is it's removing, it's discerning, it's removing and breaking away the attention from this addictive story of you and putting the personal consciousness back into this moment, back into I am. And then Nisargadatta Maharaj says it's when consciousness, so the personal consciousness and the I am meet, there is then bliss. Because what then happens is the personal consciousness turns into the impersonal consciousness, what he calls awareness, or what I call big consciousness, and the I am turns into beingness. And then there is bliss, there is coming home to oneself. So that's the recommendation that comes from most non-duality teachers, is to constantly be breaking away the attention from the thinking. So what happens in jnana yoga, which is what is often taught in non-duality, is that instead of there being a very fixed practice all the time, although most of the teachers recommend this practice, but instead of there being a very fixed practice all the time, like so when Ramana or other teachers are questioning who are you, what they're doing is they're breaking down thoughts, they're doing yoga of the mind, they're breaking down all these ideas and these limitations that you've put on yourself. But they're not doing it through doership, which is a very insanely smart way. So it's not like I'm going to break down your thoughts or you are going to break down your thoughts. Just by exposing yourself to satsang and to the energy of it being spoken to about from freedom, so the energy, and then the words that are questioning everything you think, it breaks down and snaps all these ideas, and bit by bit this system becomes hollowed out. And we say bit by bit, but in the end, in the last hollowing, it's nobody that's hollowed out, because there was never anyone there. You were always pure, brilliant, big consciousness or awareness, as Nisargadatta calls it, or God, as Ananda Mahima would call it. You were always that. You never were lost in the dream. You were never lost in the story of yourself. But seemingly this practices, these going in and outs of doing things, is pulling out. So you, like what Ramana says, is using one thorn to remove another thorn, but then throwing both away. The idea that anyone does practice. And sometimes it can feel like walking through the desert during this, because it feels, for some people, it's different for everyone, like it can be a long process in breaking yourself down. And then you can even get caught on those thoughts, of that. But it's really always throwing everything away until you're left absolutely naked. Just here, just now, in this.
Right. Yeah.
Attention. I mean, what is that? Attention. So yes and no. We are breaking parts of the mind that are attached to an illusion and going out in multiple directions of thought forms and creating limitations, like I am this body, I am this skin, I am this story. So we are breaking that. So that is part of the mind, the thoughts, these limitations. But attention is a very interesting phenomena, because so we've got this ability to put the attention on the tip of your nose, and then you've got the ability to put your attention on your toe. And it's so interesting, the different experience, because if you put your attention, say, on your toe, and your toe or foot is sore, then it can completely change the experience, even though it was there all the time, seemingly, although that could be questioned. And the same if you put your attention on music externally, it can completely change the experience. So what is attention? So attention is big consciousness. So we call it, so Nisargadatta calls attention consciousness. I call consciousness the big consciousness. This is the problem. So what I'm going to call it is personal consciousness. So attention is personal consciousness. So personal consciousness is big consciousness, or what Nisargadatta would call awareness, also with mind. So it is the gateless gate into the big consciousness. So there is mind in it, because the fact that you can move attention means that it's a mind, that is a mind element to it. But that is the mind element to it. The consciousness part to it, if you go into it, is what leads you back to the big consciousness. So attention is fascinating to investigate and to move. I mean, this is why all spiritual traditions are always looking and practicing with attention, because it's a fascinating phenomenon. Like attention is what is like our consciousness, our awareness, and it gets sort of sucked into this thought stream of it's my attention, my consciousness, it belongs to me, I move it. And all of this is lies when you begin to investigate it. So you could think of it like, which I've given this description many times before, but the nature of satsang is to keep repeating yourself. So if you think of a bag, a paper bag, and I got a pencil and I poked 20 holes into the paper bag. Then I got myself a light and I put it inside the bag. And then out of those 20 holes, the light came. So attention is the light that's coming out of the bag, the seemingly divided light, the 20 lights that come out of the bag. That is what attention is, seemingly. And it belongs seemingly to the whole. But if you go into the attention and you keep going back and deeper into it, even though it is ultimate deepness in its very unique form, but if you seemingly go back into it and keep following it back, you eventually come back to the one light which is shining out of all holes. It's just that it's a fascinating exercise to do. Because attention, what is that? You know, it's like the slippery door to nowhere. So you put attention on attention, what the hell is happening there? So attention is seemingly the whole moving of the bag. So it's seemingly the whole bit moving, but the actual consciousness in it is always still all things and no things. So rather than the bag whole putting the attention onto one object, you move it back to that which is objectless. And then it's like you get eaten up by nothing. You disappear into the vastness of what you are. So attention is always in these spiritual practices. There's always an element of that. Even in Christianity and Islam and all religions, the attention is the phenomenal element. A lot of people, though, get stuck and think that they can see attention, but there's a deeper element to that. As soon as you see consciousness, attention, that is a limitation. You've got to find that which is not limited in the attention. So sometimes people stay at the whole of the bag and they don't go even further back and go into nothing because of fear most of the time.